let's just spend a minute on life at ESPN, because my impression in knowing a few women sports reporters is, I mean, most of these female journalists in the sports world, they are cutthroat. I mean, I don't know if it's because it's a male-dominated industry. News in general is kind of cutthroat, but
Yeah.
and especially for women, but especially for some reason in the sports journalism field. Was that your experience? Has that been your experience?
Yes. And it's broken my heart. Yeah. Yes. I mean,
Yes.
Listen, I'm so tired of sugarcoating things, Megyn. It's like, it's probably my biggest disappointment on my side, or I guess our industry as a whole. Especially because as women, what do we say? We talk about the men all the time, and we're always like, and they're keeping us down and the glass ceiling, and we do it to ourselves half the time. And to me, it's inexcusable. So I remember when I got to ESPN, and I was so excited because there were not many, but a couple of other on-air women who had children. And I just wanted to pick their brain. One in particular, I wanted to pick her brain because how do you do this on the national level with little kids, And she wasn't having it.
Really?
I was very clear, like, you're not on my level, next. So I was like, sorry. One of the people that I kind of idolized for so many years too, watching from afar. That happened many times. And I felt so alone, because in general in sports, I mean, you don't want to rely on the men early on in my career for advice or help, because you're assuming, especially when I came out of college in 1995, that they don't want you there anyway, which wasn't the case. It's just kind of what's taught to you, the assumption. It was the case with some, but I don't want to put everybody in that basket. But you're supposed to be there for each other as the women until you are, apparently. And it just was another level at ESPN. What I realized, though, again, was I'm grateful for that, because I realized that, gosh, once I'd been there a few years and got that second contract and thought, okay, maybe I have a shot here to continue this career, that I was determined to not allow other women to feel the way I had, alone and scared to death. So I remember trying really hard when other women would come in and reaching out, and most of them did not have kids. I don't think any of them had kids really, and some of them had no interest, and that's fine. I mean, I used to host, like your Stella and Dot, like your jewelry parties and clothing cabbie parties and whatever. And I did it to try to invite people over. And I'm such a social butterfly. And most of the time it didn't work. They didn't really show up, but it's okay. That was their choice. And I just thought, if I'm going to complain about how I was treated, then I owe it to the next woman to at least offer a hand, an olive branch. It didn't really get much better through the years, but I got better with it myself. And I think that's the key. Once you realize that you're trying, you just can't control how everybody else receives things or behaves. And then you kind of get, I found a peace with it. It's also one of those things where it's a lesson quite often. I think we hear it a lot in sports. Like, we tell our kids, your favorite athlete, you don't want to meet them, because sometimes you're disappointed. Mm-hmm. That's what happened with me with a couple of women, where I was like, gosh, I had you here for years. And
who specifically?
I worked with you. Nice try, Megyn Kelly.
So here's the good news, though. Even though you were getting the frosty reception from the women, I know you had the pleasure of working with delightful men like Keith Olbermann. So I'm sure it was really warm and fuzzy on that side. Must have been wonderful.
I can't. Okay, I have a story.
Oh,
Here
good.
We go. I was doing the 6 p.m. Sports Center for 3 years, I think. Probably my least favorite job when I was there, but I was doing that show and prime time, and you don't say no to it and whatever. So when my co-host was out, Keith Olbermann had been brought back for, I don't know, the third time at ESPN. And he was living in New York City, of course. And Keith has a lot of dogs and loves his dogs. I love my dog too, sometimes. And when he would fill in, though, decided that he didn't want to leave his dogs and he couldn't come to Bristol. So I was asked to go to New York to do the show in that studio instead, so Keith could be with his dogs. Um, and listen, again, as a sportscaster, Keith was one of the OGs. I mean, Keith was incredible in the heyday of SportsCenter. Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick and Bob Lee, who's the all-time GOAT in my mind, and Stuart Scott and Kenny Mayne. And I mean, Keith was great at that and talented. And I looked up to him. And it was another one of those, damn it, why did I meet one of the people that I loved, you know? Mm-hmm. He was fine to my face. I'd love to see him face to face now, just to have a conversation, which the C word, God forbid we use that these days, and have a conversation. Listen, I see what he says. It gets sent to me. People actually don't even waste their time anymore because he's away. People like that who are, honestly, I'm not trying to be rude or mean or funny, but like when you're so full of hatred, I don't want that energy in my life. I'm such a positive person and I really had to work at that. And I'm actually a really nice person. It's Keith's loss. I mean, I'm kind of fun, but he's not. He's proven that.
Was he nice to you, like when you saw him in person, when you were working together? Because I mean, I see he's attacking you. Trust me, he's attacking me, and I'm attacking him too, and it's fun regularly on Twitter nowadays. But when you were colleagues, how was that?
It was fine to my face. You know, listen, I think he knew that we probably didn't agree on most things. But to me, I actually took it as even more of a challenge. Hello, who didn't know his politics? I just don't happen to care about his politics or anyone else's because I'm looking at you as a human being. How do you treat me? And at that time, he treated me well. I don't know what he said behind my back at that time, but also he was filling in on my show. So maybe there was that dynamic that changed the way that he treated me and was respectful. But I will always be respectful to others. I always have been. There's one moment when I had to have a moment with a former co-host after an incident that will someday be in the book, because the book's going to be really good, Megyn. I just have to find the energy and the focus to write it. Help me. But it's fine. It was another one of those disappointing moments where you're like, later, once I see the hatred that he's spewing, I'm like, gosh, I just don't want to meet the people that you think are great.
No, well, you were very wrong. I'm sorry to tell you, very wrong. He is not great. And I do believe, I don't say this about everybody, I genuinely don't, he's a raging misogynist. He's a total prick. Let's just be honest. Complete and utter prick who I have zero desire to see you face to face with, never mind myself. He tweeted this out this week.
I could take him, Megyn. Like, I could totally take him down. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you could, and you're so much classier than he is that it should never happen. The two of you should never interact. He tweeted this out on Tuesday after your settlement was announced about you, Sage. Doesn't know the difference between the First Amendment and First Take, which I just had to be told is an ESPN show. An utter phony who will never realize for as long as 15 seconds that everyone can see through her at all times. So Keith Olbermann is apparently, in addition to being evil and a misogynist, a moron, because there are special laws in Connecticut, which is what made it very problematic for ESPN to F with you. So he should go do his little research. One thing he's not is a lawyer, and it is very apparent in any attempted legal take that he offers. In any event, enough about that loser. Look at the mirror. Do you see those dark spots? Well, they're not going to go away on their own, folks, sadly. Introducing the Dark Spot Corrector from Genucel, perfect for summer. The Dark Spot Corrector, with not one but 3 cutting-edge ingredients, goes to work fast to target sunspots, dark spots, liver spots, even old discoloration, both on your face and hands. Enjoy your summer sun, beach, and barbecues without embarrassing spots. With Genucel, you'll see the results or your money back, no questions asked. Go to Genucel.com right now, get your Dark Spot Corrector with the new Genucel Most Popular package, and say goodbye to those pesky spots tomorrow. And if you're not blown away with the results, get 100% of your money back, no questions asked. Visit Genucel.com/MK60 right now for these amazing summer essentials and save over 70% off Genucel's most popular package. Don't wait. Order Genucel's most popular package now, get free shipping, free returns, and the best luxury skincare you've ever used. All at 70% off Genucel.com/MK60. GENUCEL.com/MK60. All orders include a mystery luxury gift while supplies last. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.